ever seen numbers that look like this and wonder, what do I do with them? Well, these numbers are called exponents, and today we're going to learn about them. An exponent is the number of times a number is multiplied by itself. You can recognize an exponent because it has a larger number and a smaller number that's sort of up in the air next to it. An exponent is the number of times a number is multiplied by itself. We'll take an example and look at it. When you see an exponent, you notice that one number is larger and it has a smaller number that seems to float to the top right of it. That's called the exponent. An exponent is the number of times a number is multiplied by itself. Let's take a look. Here's the number 2 with the exponent of 4. The exponent 4 tells you how many times to multiply the number 2 by itself. So in this case, I am taking the number 2 and I am going to multiply it by itself 4 times. Here we have the number 2, and that is the number we are going to be multiplying by itself. The exponent 4 tells us how many times we want to multiply 2 by itself. So let's give it a try. Here I have 2 with the exponent 4. Some people may also read that as 2 to the 4th power, but we're going to show you how to solve this exponent. It's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's 2 multiplied by itself 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can solve that by going 2 times 2 is 4, and remembering to multiply 2 times 2 again, which is 4. And 4 times 4 is 16. So 2 to the 4th power, or 2 to the exponent 4, would be 16. Let's talk about some common mistakes that some people make. One mistake people make is they are adding the number to itself instead of multiplying it. This is an example of what not to do. This is 2 to the 3rd power. A common mistake is saying 2 plus 2 plus 2 would be 6, but that would be incorrect. The correct way to solve this would be to multiply 2 times itself 3 times. 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, and then multiply the other 2, so that would be 4 times 2 to give you a product of 8. Another common mistake people make is multiplying the number times the exponent. Here's an example of what not to do. You do not simply multiply 4 times 2 to get 8. That would be incorrect. The correct way to handle it would be to multiply 4 times itself 2 times. So 4 times 4, which would equal 16. There are some words you're going to hear a lot when you're working with exponents. So let's hear them. The first word is squared. Squared is a number multiplied by itself. So it would just be a number times itself 2 times. Here's an example. 3 squared. 3 times 3 would give you a product of 9. Another vocabulary word you need to know is the word cubed. When you cube a number, you're multiplying it by itself 3 times. Here's an example. We would say this as 2 cubed. So this would be 2 times itself 3 times. 2 times 2 times 2. Remember, don't make the mistake of adding the numbers together. Multiply them all. 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 would give you a product of 8. You may remember exponents when you were working with powers of 10 earlier in the year. And exponents with other numbers work in the same fashion. When we read an exponent, here for example, I have a 2 with an exponent of 4. And I would read that as 2 to the power of 4, or I could read it as 2 to the 4th power. But either way, it means the same. And I would show this by 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So that would be how I would read the exponent, 2 to the power of 4 or 2 to the 4th power. And then I could solve and find the product. Now it's your turn to try. Try 5 squared. You should have gotten the answer 25 because you have 5 with the exponent of 2. That means we're multiplying 5 times itself, 5 times 5. And 5 times 5 is 25. Try this one, 6 squared. You should have gotten the answer of 36. If you got 12, it's because you either added 6 to itself or you multiplied 6 times the exponent 2, which is incorrect. Remember, when you see the 6, you're multiplying it by itself, however many times the exponent is. So it would be 6 times 6. Now try this one. Try 3 cubed, or 3 to the power of 3. You should have gotten the answer of 27 because 3 times 3 is 9, and when you multiply that times 3 more, you would get 27. I hope you feel more comfortable now using exponents.